Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to a new review. For today we have the latest device from Umidigi and this one is called the Umidigi Z Pro. If you've seen my review of the UMI Z, well basically this is the exact same phone but we have dual cameras on the back and a different color, and I have to say this new color looks much better. Now before we go any further, can you help me get this video to 500 likes? Only 500? So don't forget to press that like button in there. For specifications, we have the Mediatek Helio X27 CPU. This is a very powerful CPU. We also have 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage, and the phone is running Android 6.0.1. As I mentioned before, this phone looks identical to the UMI Z, so we get the exact same premium look, so metal on the back and glass on the front. Like most phones with 5.5-inch screens, the phone it is a bit large, so it is difficult to actually use this phone holding it in one hand, mostly whenever you are typing something. Starting with the back of the device, so as I said before, the back it's made out of metal, and I have to say that it does look gorgeous whenever it's clean. When it's not clean, well, it doesn't look that great. So aside from that, we have two 13 megapixel cameras on the back, so not one but two. We also have the dual tone flash, a secondary microphone and their logo. The phone's frame it's also made out of metal and it's basically a continuation of the back. So on the right hand side we have the power button and the volume keys, and of course these ones are also made out of metal, and on top we have the 3.5mm audio jack. The sound coming out of the audio jack it's well balanced and on par with much more expensive devices. On the other side of the phone you're gonna find a SIM card tray, and you can either use two SIM cards or a SIM card and an SD card, and since this device is using Android 6.0.1 you can easily install an SD card as internal storage. And speaking of the internal storage, out of that 32 gigs that we get with this device we get about 25 free, but the speeds that I got for the internal storage are really good. At the bottom of the phone we have what looks to be like two speakers, however only one of them is a speaker, the other one is actually a microphone, and we also have a USB-C port in there. Any USB cable works great on this port, and I wanted to mention that because there was a phone that Umi made some time ago that had a different USB-C port, so yes, you can use any cable with this USB port. The phone also supports OTG, so you can plug in any USB stick and the phone will be able to read whatever you have on that USB stick. The phone also supports fast charging, but this is not as fast as other flagship devices from bigger companies, so the phone will still take about 2 hours and a half to fully charge from 0 to 100. And since this is definitely related to charging, the phone has a 3780 mAh battery inside. This is a non-removable battery, so you're not going to be able to take it out. And the battery life, well, it's average. So I was able to get about 3 hours and a half of screen on time and about 12 hours on the phone. So you're basically going to make it through an entire day, but the battery life, it's not exceptional. And moving back to the speaker for a couple of seconds, so it does get quite loud, but it sounds a bit distorted at the maximum volume. So if you're gonna listen to around 85-90% of the volume, it does sound great. On the front of the phone, starting at the top, we have the front-facing camera. This is a 13 megapixel camera. We also have the speaker, a notification light, and the notification light can change colors, and we also have a flash. The flash on the front, it's definitely a great addition. It helps a lot with pictures that you're gonna take in low light conditions. Now about the picture quality, if you have a lot of light, the pictures do turn out quite nicely, and even in low light you can still take some good looking pictures. And of course the pictures that you've just seen were taken with the front facing camera of this device. The 5.5-inch screen used for this device is among the best that I've seen for any cheaper Chinese devices. So we have a resolution of 1080p and the screen does have really good viewing angles and great brightness. So you can even see this phone outside. So whenever you take the phone outside and it's like sunny, you can still see the screen. The screen sensitivity it's also good, so great for typing or playing any games, and the screen can register 5 touches in the same time. And of course, like on any other phone, I try to scratch the screen, but it doesn't seem to get scratched that easily, so we have some type of scratch resistant glass covering the screen. We also have on-screen buttons, but if you don't want to use those, you can just turn them off and use the physical buttons of the device. So we do have physical buttons at the bottom, even though you cannot see them. Like all the other UMI devices, unfortunately they haven't used the multitasking button as a multitasking button, so it's like an option settings button. I'm not sure why they chose to do that, and why they don't actually have somewhere in the software that you can actually change that. So to go into multitasking you actually have to hold the home button for a couple of seconds, and I think that actually slows you down from multitasking, so definitely not my favorite thing about this phone. The home button also has a fingerprint scanner inside, and speaking about that fingerprint scanner, it is accurate 10 out of 10 times, so I haven't had any issues with the fingerprint scanner, and it seems to be quite fast as well. So all you have to do is actually touch the fingerprint scanner and the phone will unlock, so very nice and easy. Some of you may know that I had some issues with the fingerprint scanner on the UMI Z, so I had to touch it like a couple of times, it was slow and so on, but with this one it works much better. As for performance, this is a very fast phone, so that Helio X27 CPU that we have, it's definitely not a slow CPU. The Antutu score that I got on this device, it's somewhat lower than the one that I got on the UMI Z, and I'm not sure why, but the score that I got on the Geekbench 4, it's kind of the same. Using any apps or playing any games works just like it would work on a phone that costs like $1,000, so no issues with performance. So for example, Chrome, you can scroll up, scroll down, zoom in, zoom out, so basically as fast as you can probably do that, and it works really good. On the YouTube app, the maximum resolution is 1080p, so the resolution of the screen, and all the videos seem to go very smooth as well. For gaming, you can basically play any game available in the Google Play Store, and most games, or at least the ones that I tried, work really good without any issues. The phone does get a bit warm whenever you're playing games. The GPS unit inside this device, even though it's not the fastest that I've ever seen, it connects to satellites quickly and you can use Google Maps or any other navigation app without any issues. As for sensors, we do have a whole bunch of them, including the gyroscope, and all of them seem to work good as well. Connectivity-wise, the phone supports 4G networks, and I was actually connected to the 4G network from the moment that I put my SIM card in, and this phone also has dual-band Wi-Fi. The speeds that I got over Wi-Fi and over the 4G networks are really good. As for call quality, I haven't had any issues, so the speaker on top here gets quite loud and everybody was able to hear me properly, so no issues with call quality. Now let's talk about the most exciting part of this phone, so the dual camera setup on the back. So we have two 13 megapixel sensors, and both sensors are Sony sensors, Sony IMX258 if I remember correctly, and I have to say that I was quite impressed by the results that I got from this device. As you know, with most cheaper Chinese devices with dual cameras on the back, well, the picture quality is not good at all. Well, I can't say the same about this one, so all the pictures that I took with the dual camera setup work really nice and they look very good. The camera app is a bit different than the camera app that we used to have on the UMI Z, and of course we have lots of options and lots of settings. We even have a pro mode in there where you can basically tweak the camera as you wish to take manual pictures, so that would be great for like low light conditions, nighttime pictures or anything like that. And then we have the dual camera picture mode, so keep in mind that this mode is slower than all the other ones. Normally the camera is quite quick, but if you're gonna use the dual camera setup while taking pictures takes a bit longer. So first of all, you're gonna have to focus on your subject, but you can actually refocus to another subject later on whenever the picture is done. You select the aperture and then you take the picture, and as I said before, after you've taken the picture you actually go in the picture and you refocus to whatever you want. So the results that you're getting are quite nice. The pictures that I'm showing you right now are actually taken with that dual camera setup, and then I refocus to whatever I wanted in the picture, and as you can probably tell, the background is nice and blurred, so it looks very professional. If you use just one camera, the results are very similar to the results that we got on the UMI Z. So low light condition pictures, even though they do look good, they're a bit grainy here and there and out of focus every now and then. But let's keep in mind the price of this device. The pictures that you're gonna take during daytime, they do look good, but it was the same with the UMI Z. So all the pictures that you've seen right now were actually taken with this device. Software-wise, the phone is using Android 6.0.1 and hopefully we'll get an update to Android 7 soon. Now this is very close to stock Android, so it's kind of hard to tell that you're not actually using stock Android, and that's a very good thing. Now scrolling in between screens, opening new apps, closing apps, basically everything is done super fast, including multitasking. So the phone can multitask really well. You can have a whole bunch of apps running in the background and the phone it's not actually gonna kill any of them. So that 4 gigs of RAM definitely helps for multitasking. The settings app also looks very close to stock Android, and we don't really have that many added features. The only added features that I actually found are the double tap to wake up the screen. So whenever the screen is off, you can just double tap on it and the screen will turn on. Since the phone is quite new, I did find a couple of bugs. One of them is related to the screen rotation, so there are some apps that don't actually rotate, so you do this and nothing happens. To fix it, you actually have to turn on the screen rotation and turn it back off, and then that particular app will rotate. But it is a bit annoying, and I've already sent an email to Umidigi, and hopefully this will get addressed in a future update. The second bug that I found, it's related to the Google Play Music app. So sometimes whenever you press play, it locks you out of the app, and basically the phone locks, and then you have to unlock it. So that's another bug that could be annoying for some. So there you have it. This is the Umidigi Z Pro, and I don't really have that many bad things to say about this phone. The only thing that I didn't like about it is the battery life, and I wish the battery life would have been improved. I would be better off to have something like, I don't know, 5 hours of screen on time, because 3.5, well, I'm not gonna make it through an entire day realistically. The fast charging, even though it's called fast charging, it's not the fastest charging in the world, so it's still gonna take you like 3 hours to fully charge the phone. But overall, this is an excellent phone, mostly for a phone that costs around $250. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.